All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host for this morning's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And we're definitely happy and grateful for all of you being here with us this morning as we dive into the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we can take advantage of on this Thursday in the Forex market. So for those of you who are here with me bright and early, do me a big favor. Let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage as we go through the charts this morning. If everybody is all set and ready to go, do me a favor, drop me a huge number 1 in the chat. Let me know that you can hear me loud and clear, and we can get this session going. Oh, hold on one second. I think I spoke too soon. Let me activate the chat. Hold on. All right, so there we go. Try it one more time. Drop me a 1 in the chat. Appreciate it. All right, good deal. Okay, all right, so let's dive in. Let me close this out, escape out of here, and let's go over and take a look at trading economics. So we see that European gas prices near a 2-month high, right? We know that we've got energy issues coming out of the Eurozone. Gas prices are an issue everywhere, but we know going into the winter that this could be an issue for the Eurozone. So gas prices at a 2-year high. We've got European shares subdued. Wall Street set for a muted open. Oil prices stabilized, but outlook remains bleak. Okay, was reading some articles and some reports this morning, listened to a little bit of Bloomberg, and still kind of back and forth about China, right? The reopening. A lot of people kind of skeptical. Any rallies they're saying in the Chinese stock market, a lot of people are saying they're selling the rallies. So it's going to be interesting as we move through the month of December. Of course, when you talk about China, huge trade partner to New Zealand, right? Just big globally, period. But New Zealand, Australia, that can have an effect on that currency eventually, depending on which way China goes. So we'll continue to keep a close eye on what's going on with the Chinese economy and with the COVID challenges that they are happening in regards to reopening, not opening. I know there's been some changes to their policy, a little easing of their COVID policies. That's the reports that are coming out, but we still haven't gotten that pop right in the oil prices. So you see here that the oil prices stabilized. You would think there would be a little bit more demand since they are looking to ease some of their policies, but things are remaining a little bit muted around the markets because you still have the global recessionary fears, and there's a lot of back and forth about that in regards to the timing and when we may move into the recession, quote unquote. So we'll continue to keep an eye. So a lot of caution out there in the market, so to speak. I want to jump over, take a look at Forex. Let's take a look at the DXY and the dollar. We see that the dollar index held above 105. Moving into Thursday, remaining up so far for the weekend, benefiting from the risk-off sentiment as renewed recession fears grip the financial markets. The greenback was also being supported by bets that the Federal Reserve will raise interest rates further and keep them higher for longer, right? So we know that they're going to raise them further, potentially 50 basis points in December. But the question now is how long, once they hit the peak rate, how long are they going to keep it? Right, at that high rate. Okay, so longer following the release of surprisingly strong U.S. employment, services and factory data, investors now look ahead to the U.S. consumer inflation report data next week, as well as the Fed's policy meeting, where it is expected to deliver a more moderate 50 basis point rate hike after raising its key rate by 75 basis points in the past 4 meetings. The dollar held its ground against the euro, sterling, yen, while it gained against most emerging currencies, right? So if we go over and take a look at the chart, we can see the DXY, how we did get the correction, right? 80-20 play, okay, right there. We know what that is, hitting that zone. And just from a technical perspective, not even really following the fundamentals. We knew that technically we were at a level that eventually that dollar could break down because we were in our 80-20 zone, and that's exactly what it did. And now we've come into these levels here, which are daily levels, kind of covered up by my, let me get that out of there, right? And you can see where it kind of rebounded, and now we're kind of just dancing around this level here, right? This daily zone. So we'll see if it can continue to gain some strength and move back above that level and close above these daily levels. So that's where we are in regards to the US dollar. Welcome to everybody that just joined us. Good morning. Let me make sure everybody has control over their microphone. As always, we just ask, hey, if you're not making a statement or asking a question, let's do our best to keep it muted. All right, out of respect for everyone else. So let's go over to the Forex factory. And today, light day, we've got President Lagarde, ECB president, speaking. Not highlighted as a huge major red folder. Might be some other policy discussion outside of the Eurozone monetary policy. Don't know about that. We'll see as the day goes on, any reports or articles that come out in regards to some of her rhetoric. We've got USD unemployment claims coming out, nothing too major, but we do on Friday have core PPI coming out, another data point in regards to inflation to see if it's easing. So we look forward to seeing that report. 0.2% is the projected for PPI month over month and core. And we've got the preliminary University of Michigan consumer sentiment statement coming out. So that can, these have the ability to move the market on a Friday here in the early parts of December. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. So let's jump into the charts and have a look at what's going on in the market, any type of opportunities that may be on the horizon. And the first one I'm going to go to is this Aussie NZD setup, because it is starting to kind of rock and roll just a little bit off of this 80-20 zone off the 4. So let's start out and take a look at the daily. We noticed, the weekly, we noticed that we've had a long run to the downside. Some of us were able to take advantage of that, but we've come into an area of key support here on the weekly at this 106.16, 105.72 level, and we see that we're neutral, right? So we've got our charts marked up, past resistance becoming future support, and we see that there's some indecision, a little bouncing back and forth. And if we come to the daily, we'll see that, hey, we've got extended. We've got a new AB boundary, okay, in the downtrend. Okay? So this has come down quite a ways off the highs that we spotted, over 800 pips, almost 900 pips. And we can see now that we bounced around our B boundary. And then we got to break out to the downside. And now we're right at that 80-20 zone, that classic level. So we've got some confluence. We've got a fib, key fib level being hit, 127 extension after a very shallow retracement. And now we've got that in confluence with the weekly support level, okay, which we saw from the higher time frame. And we're getting a little bullish momentum, okay, slowly but surely. We had originally drawn this up and posted it off the 5, right, for a quick day trade opportunity. And we see that we got the swing out of the 80-20 zone, but it didn't quite get to that 382 before the momentum pushed it back down. So I got stopped profited on that one. But what it did is when you move up to your higher time frames, you can see that it just pushed down further, right, into a 4-hour 80-20 zone, and we're getting a reaction here at this point, right? So if it breaks through this weekly level at 106.16 and we get some momentum, that 382 is 200 pips away. So that could be a major mover. Some of us, we just trade from zone to zone. So far up that zone, that's 40 pips, right? From 106 to 106.91, looking at over 70 pips. So if you play breaks and retest, this is an area and an opportunity where that can occur. And maybe you play it on your lower time frames, whether it be the 1 hour, 15 minute, 5 minute. This is the swing. We've got a nice ABCD wave on the 1 hour, Okay, coming out of the same type of scenario. All right, so projected D extension is here, 106.33. So that it'll lend us to believe that, hey, if we continue to get that push, right, and the sequence follows through, we're gonna break that 106.16 level eventually. So we'll see what happens on that. All right, so that is the Aussie NZD. Any questions? No, we're good. So we are technically, okay, right, just always know where we are. So it has fallen bearish. So we are in a down, okay, down retracement zone. Okay. Okay, that's where we are. We're in a down retracement zone. So price is retracing. So overall, price has been moving bearish, but now we're in a correction phase here. Okay, so far with the price action. So we're looking for that pullback and that correction, and that's tradable, right? If you're a trend trader, then you wait for your high price and then you look to get short if your directional bias is bearish, right? Just keep in mind your higher time frames control your lower time frames. So if this reaction is going to continue to the upside, this may be a larger correction from a daily perspective. All right. So just keep that in mind that right now we may be setting up for a short term, right? When the grand scheme of things, short term bullish move to the upside. So keep an eye on that. The Aussie is kind of back and forth, right? Especially with all when you talk about commodity currencies, global demand fears, recession fears, these can be kind of tricky, but right now, technically, we're in a correction phase, all right, for that one. And I want to take a look at the Aussie CAD. And right, so we pushed up. Yes, what's up?
I have a question.
Sure.
So that play for NZD will be on the 4 hour?
Yeah, it's on multiple. It's actually lining up on multiple charts, right? So you could play it off of 4-1. That's your preference there. But this is off the 4. You can see how it's lining up on the 1-2 because it's been such an impulsive move to the downside for quite some time, right? So when we originally spotted that, almost 900 pips to the downside, but you've got to play on your 1-2, right?
Right.
So it depends on which wave you want to play. I mean, you've got it on the daily. That's a potential long swing there. You're stochastic, right? Our momentum is exhausted to the downside.
Have you looked at the weekly? Because I came in kind of.
Yeah, I did right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. So the reason why I'm asking, so I was looking to play that zone up to the next weekly, but when you said something about short term, it will probably be more so be hesitant on the daily or something like that because of all the traffic.
No, I mean technically if it's gonna correct, it's gonna correct. Right. Okay. So you could play it up to the next zone, right? We were just talking about that a second ago. You can play it to the next resistance level. It just depends on how you play your trade plan. The key is knowing that, hey, we're in a possible correction phase. Right, okay, for this pair after it's made a long run to the downside for almost 900 pips, we're looking for a potential correction. Like so, you see here, right? You had a new AB boundary, it corrected, right? So that correction off that B boundary was 142 pips. That was 122 pips.
Okay, I got you.
Right. So you can see how this is. See how large this fit was to the downside. You had that breakout. And it got impulsive. So now, right, we're getting a little bullish. So the way you could play it, right, we know these are long-term targets. The key is knowing, hey, I'm in a correction phase, so I may be moving to the upside, bullish for a little bit. But what you could do is, even though we know that that's a potential huge move over the long term, right, 300 pips, you may just play it, right, breaks and retest zone to zone. Okay, because the key in what we're trying to do is get our direction right. Okay.
Yeah.
and we're trying to get the direction right. So if we get back up above this 106.16, we could look to get back, right, to possibly 106.91, right? If you maybe you want to track the highs, right, and say, hey, right, what was that previous high there? It was 106.57, you know, so just some key areas, because these are probably zones on your lower time frames anyway, right? Resistance levels. So that's where we are. You got it on the 1, right? See, there's that high, right? From that daily wick that we saw. That's what it looks like on the 1 there. Okay. So it just depends on how granular you want to get, right? Which is setup. So we just broke through a level here that just broke. Now we've got this weekly level. We've got a level here, right? Right. So it just depends on how, you know, like I say, how granular you want to be in regards to levels where you might want to take profit. You know, if you're shorter term, then you might just go from level to level. Right. So if you get a break it and retest to 106.16, I got resistance here at 106.57, 1 hour resistance. Maybe that's my trade, right? Or maybe you look to swing to that 382. Okay. Great question. All right. So again, the key is what you're trying to determine and spot these U-turns is first direction, right? And a lot of times people have problems in the Forex markets because they can't get the direction right. So the fibs, understanding top-down analysis and using the fibs for those high probability reversal zones helps us in that sense, okay, in regards to getting trying to get that direction right. And you can see, right, here's the swing. So far, right off the lows, right, we've been right for over 70 pips, right? That's a good week for a lot of people. Right? And if you could do that consistently, there's a lot to be had in this market. So while we mark these long-term targets, right, if you're not the type to hold, that's okay. You might be through this ABCD wave right here and you might be done, right? So off this swing, okay, all right, that's close to 70 pips just off the C to that D. You might be done. So that's just something to think about for everybody, right? Especially our newer members of the inner circle, right? We mark these targets out, but you can go from zone to zone. We just always say, right? Be consistent at what you do, because that's how you become consistently profitable. All right. So that's that. Want to take a look at this Aussie CAD. And this is just continuing to grind upwards, right? I thought I might see a little reaction here. We started to get a little sticky in this area in this zone. It's just still kind of there, but it's just grinding its way up, right? A lot of people saw the considering how the Canadian economy is performing. A lot of people considered the rate hike dovish at 50 basis points. You know, I kind of get where they are, right? They've been hiking aggressively as well in Canada, and at some point you have to kind of let things subside a little bit to see what those lagging effects are of the hikes that you've already made. Okay, so these central banks have hiked rates pretty aggressively in a short amount of time. So sometimes you got to kind of take your foot off the pedal a little bit and see what the aftermath is. You don't want to cause any unnecessary shocks to the market if you don't have to. But I guess some people saw it as dovish because of how well the economy has been performing, despite a lot of the circumstances, despite oil prices in Canada. So this is where we are. Is continue to climb in the zone. But we are a little bit exhausted here in regards to our stochastic, but it's continuing bullish, right? It's looking like it's trying to break. We get a break and close above this 91.84. It's probably just going to keep pushing. It's probably just going to keep pushing. Haven't gotten any type of major trend line breaks or anything. If we come down to the 4, we're right into this 80-20 zone. So things are trying to exhaust, right? You can see this range, right? So it's sitting right at the top of that level. But again, that's that 91.84. If we break it and we close strong bullish, then we may continue up to that 92.55, right? Kind of hard to gauge with everything with these two commodity currencies. So we're ranging, right? We're getting that that stalling out around that 118, 127 zone. So this is one that you watch closely. 4 hour, we're definitely overbought 94%. So the momentum is starting to slow. The candles are getting smaller. So what you could do is, if we don't get that strong bullish move to the upside and break and close above, maybe it's time. So what I would do is just keep my trend lines deployed on this one, and to see if we start getting some breaks and start making some lower lows and lower highs. I'm not a buyer right now, because of where it's sitting. It's sitting pretty high in the zone. It's struggling a little bit, but it may be an opportunity for us. It is in our zone for it to break down, but you have to be patient on that. Okay, you have to be patient, because we are sitting at the top of that range. So just continue to be patient. Continue to be patient. See if price wants to break down, right? Maybe it breaks down. Okay, we've seen a lot of ranges lately. So if it doesn't give us a strong breakout, then maybe it breaks down and now it's coming back to the bottom of the range at least, right? So that's 88 pips back to the bottom of the range. So if we're trading on the lower time frames, right, there could be potential for some plays there. All right, so just continue, but let the market dictate and tell you what it wants to do. I'm just going to move this to the outside of that range, and let's see what happens. See what happens there on that. Okay. Just like that. All right. Any questions on that Aussie CAD? That's where we are for right now. Okay, put that one on your watch list. Good. All right. I'm assuming there's no questions. All right. Aussie Swiss. Okay. So for example, when we talk about a range, right? We can see here from the weekly chart, right? We kind of see how that we're tight. Okay. How tight we are there. And then if you come down here to the daily, okay, we say, hey, you can wait for a breakout, or we are in this range and we bottomed out and we've got some momentum to the upside, right? So over 100 pips in that range. So you can play that, right? So what you do, see how we got this strong bullish candle off this 4 hour right there, right? And you guys can see that wave, right? We're starting to understand that Fibonacci sequence, but that's a nice bullish engulfing candle. So what you do is you can work yourself down through the time frames, and you can say, hey, maybe I want to make a play on that. Okay. So bottom of the range back to the top of the range, and you can see how that's moving. If we go down to the 15, you can see how we've got this play, right? This ABCD wave. So we say it's just always a matter of how granular do you want to get. So we've pulled back just about to a 61.8. So we expect, right, a 1.618 D extension there, right? ABCD, right? So there, that's 46 pips, almost 50 pips off the swing. Okay? These are the type of setups when you have larger ranges, right? Over 100 pip ranges, and it tends to keep finding a bottom or finding a top, right? Those become tradable, right? Within the range. If you want. If not, then you just wait. You just patiently wait, pass on these type of scenarios until you get a breakout of the major levels, either to the upside or to the downside. So if we swing back and we look, we can see where price range, and then it broke out to the downside here, right? So now we're in that same scenario, and that daily support level seems to be holding right now. Okay. So that's how you can find little trades within the range. Any questions on the Aussie Swiss? Nope. All right. We already covered Aussie yen. I've got nothing on. Aussie dollar still kind of sitting in an area where we are fairly neutral. It's dancing around a little bit. We had a breakdown, but when you come to the weekly, right, you can see where we're stalling. past support becoming future resistance. Okay. Give me 1 second, everybody. All right. Ryan, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, bro. Good morning. How are you?
Doing good, man. I got the good medicine in me. I don't like the pain, sir. I'm gonna make sure I stay on that good regimen. Get through it.
Yeah, man.
But but I'm doing good right now. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you. All right. Ryan, anything out there that you saw fundamentally in the market?
Nothing new from a fundamental perspective.
Okay.
Nope.
Cool. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Yep. So we're kind of just trying to figure it out, right? On the Aussie dollar, we've hit this level, and when you hit these key levels like this, it's revisiting a past level. It's got to figure itself out, right? So we pushed down from that level, and now we're trying to retest. All right, so we're kind of just bouncing around. So I would like to say that we are just neutral right now, bouncing around. So we'll see what happens, see what we can make of it, right? We got up around that 61.8 on the daily, and we're just kind of flat. And that's okay. That's the way it is sometimes. We got a nice break of that trend line, and now we've got some decisions to make. Somebody's going to win, either the Bulls or the Bears. So we needed to break out of this mess. All right, and that's pretty much it on the Aussie dollar. Any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Just want to check in on this CAD switch, right? It's been a beautiful bearish move, everybody. All right, look at that. Okay. Strong bearish move, right? And just want to get everybody alerted to, hey, we're getting around, we're holding up at the 68.22, but we're getting close to that D extension. So that's been a beautiful move to the downside from the daily. And now we're kind of just dancing around a little bit. So I did spot a potential setup here to where we are dancing around. If we break above that 69.03, right, we could be headed back up, right? So when you look at, intraday trading and things like that. So eventually, right, we want to see that D extension hit. So this is this daily 1.618 D extension. Okay. But when I was navigating through the charts, you see where there's a possibility for price to break out. So here, this is a 4-hour zone. Okay, 4-hour zone here. Like that. 4-hour level. That's a weekly level at 106. So and then you've got a 4-hour level here. Okay. So let me take that down. Hold on 1 second. Like that. Okay. So we may be looking at a scenario to where let me get this off. Right, how we were just talking about trading zone to zone. So this may be a scenario where if you get a bullish break and close, we may be headed back up to 69.50. Okay, so that's a quick trade, potential trade set up there, right? Close to 40 pips or so, right? Off the range, off the reversal and a breakout of this tight consolidation. So just wanted to keep an eye on if you like those types of setups on the cash switch. Other than that, we go to the 1 And you can see where we are, right? You all see how this market moves in waves. Look at the waves, right? Huge off the trend line break, okay? Trend lines matter, okay? That's why we want to draw them properly. Look at the break on the daily. See how this is just, look, one wave here on the daily, but you've got multiple waves on the one, right? The market moves in waves. So this may be a scenario, if we get that break, then we're just correcting, right? We're correcting off that B boundary, right? See how it all comes together? Same stuff over and over again, right? So if it wants to break, then that means, hey, we're just in a corrective phase. So we may get one more push up before we come down to this D extension, right? If we don't break out of it, if it doesn't break that zone, then we may be headed down, right? So this is, again, our daily 1.618 D extension. That's sitting right in line with the 127 on the one, right? So this is how you can kind of forecast and draw up different scenarios and just wait for them to happen. So if we break above this level, right, we could be pushing higher. Right? And if we break below, okay, and we break out to the downside, then this is where we may see a pause because it's a daily 1.618D extension, which then puts us in line for a potential 80-20 play and a reversal, right? So some things to think about as we get towards the end of the week, right? As we move through December. Any questions on that?
Hey, Benny.
Yes.
Couple points of confirmation on this. On the one, if you go all the way back to the high, back at right around 77982, and run your fib off that high, that also puts you in a different 80-20 scenario,
right?
But still lines up with that daily B extension.
Yep, right here.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then on the four, your fib on the four is also that daily D extension is also your 4-hour D extension as well. So a couple points of confirmation there.
Right in line.
In the same zone. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks. Appreciate it.
No doubt.
So this is right. This is a good one to study, right? When we look at the potential reversal zones, right, that we want to keep an eye on. And this is where patience plays a huge part, right? And what we do, you just wait. You put that on your watch list, and you see if it gives you exactly what you're looking for. All right. So a few different scenarios on that one. Thanks, Ryan. All right. I want to take a look at this. Look at this cat again. All right. So, well, let me back all the way out, right? Look at the idea. Okay. So we spotted this scenario, right, on this cat yen and saying, hey, we may push down to this support and come back to retest this 101 43 as resistance, which will give us, right, gives us a little bit of a head and shoulder scenario there, right? This over the long term. But in the meantime, right, spotting this double top and playing that trend line break. And we're moving down. But we know, right, when we get those long waves to the downside, okay, eventually the market likes to correct itself. So this is where we are. We've got a brand new AB boundary, and it may get corrective now, right, to a higher price to get back short, right? So let me see what we got there, right? Kind of dancing around there. So that's a potential B to C move if it holds above that B boundary. And here we are, right? Just a zoomed in look on the one where we're right into that 118 zone there, right? So we're kind of just dancing around, but there's a possibility that we may get a move up on that to correct. So that's a potential play there, just ranging right now, right? But we did tap that 118, so it may want to make its way to the upside. So we're in a down retracement zone. So if you're looking to, right, potentially get short, then you will wait for your high price. But I'm not, when we come out and I pull this fib off the low, I'm not particularly right. So yeah, that's going to be a complete. It's going to take out this A when we're looking at the yen. This might settle in within this AB boundary, and so this may become eventually a full-on reversal to the upside. Ryan, what do you think about this setup?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as you. I'm not sold on it yet. I'm looking to see what happens at that 97.79 as well.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna. Yeah, I don't know if we'll get. We'll see. We'll see. We got. That's a weekly level, right? But I'm not. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not sold on like long-term bearishness on that CAD. Just not. Especially when we still got huge monetary policy divergence. We would just have to move into we're experiencing some risk off right now. But I'm not quite buying a continued short over the long term on the CAD yen, but we'll see. I think it may hang within this AB boundary and get long for a larger move to the upside instead of just a temporary correction. But we'll see. I don't know. This is where we are now. On that, it's kind of.
If you run subfibs to the downside, you have to draw a manual one for the second one, but it hit a D extension. And it's trying to settle in, so we might get that reversal back to the top side.
Yeah, I think what for one, I don't know why I'm not putting that in. That's a support level there. Well, I'm thinking long term here, right? I'm definitely thinking correction soon, but this may end up being a C to D push over the long term. That's what I'm trying to get ahead, to think that this settles in and this becomes just a longer term swing, right? So what we're talking about, everybody, is that this, right, just goes beyond a correction, right? And now it's time to get long again on the CAD yen for real. And that this move to the downside, this run is over, right? So in essence, like this, right? But I had to keep an eye out on the fundamentals. I'm not buying long-term bearish on the CAD. Right. I get the continued play to the down because of the oil remaining subdued, but Canada's GDP, their economy is it's looking pretty good right now. So I might be looking to get. I'm just gonna leave it like that. All right. What's this? The 1 hour? Okay. See how that one plays out. See if we start getting some higher highs. I'll leave those targets in there. No, a break below these levels here. Maybe a different story. I don't know. I'm just not. Because then we still got that 97.79. That's within that daily AB boundary. So we'll see. We'll see. But if I get a break of the trend lines, I'll definitely look to get long. I'll definitely look to get long. Do we have a wave plan out here on this one yet? Yeah. All right. So keep an eye out on that one. Okay. Keep an eye out on that one. That's a A6 retracement.
Look like on that one?
That's a great question. That's a great idea. Right, ranging. It's just ranging right now. But hey, if you get that shift in momentum and we get that definite upside continuation, then you'll start to see all of this shift. Bullish cloud, right? You get your crossovers, lagging span. Lagging span is not quite above price yet. But that actually will get you in prior to that trend line. There's that 118 right there based off of that retracement and that correction. But you can see how it settled in his zone again. And it just didn't continue his breakout to the downside. So this might be a good one. I have a hard time selling anything long term against the yen right now. Like I said, unless something drastic happens and we move into like just major long term risk off, right now I can't call it. I mean, there's still a back and forth, depending on what you read, whether or not we're gonna move into a recession. Some people are calling it is coming. Some people are saying how, looking at the numbers right now, and if it happens, it's gonna be short term. So there's a lot of back and forth in the market. So technically, though, I'm gonna trade what I see, and that's looking like that's wanting to get, bullish, right, to the upside. So that's another one, right? We might just do it, zone to zone. All right, ride it out. Any questions on the CAD? Yeah.
No, sir.
No. All right. So that's one to keep an eye on there. All right, kind of moving sideways within the AB boundary right now, but hey, that's found good support there. All right, it's a good one. Euro Aussie. Okay. This one, right, just moving in this range. So we thought, hey, we bottomed out, was going to get back to the top of the range, and you can see it's struggling again right at the top of this level. So we're wondering, it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens, right? So that was a good one there. How it broke, moved right back up to the top. Right, look at that swing off of support, bottom of the range. Okay, good one to study, right? Range play. Look at the break in the bullish candle. Look what happened, right? We got the breakout. Okay, we got the breakout. And now, right, we're kind of sitting here trying to make a determination at this level. So if we get back below this 155.73, right, we look for breaks and retests, right? Potentially to move back down, right? Not interested in playing this level here at all, right? So we need price to either break out, come bearish, or to move back up, right? Because we've got a candlestick formation here and we're moving sideways. So we need it to give us some clarity in regards to breaking out through some levels, right? Like that, right? That's where we are. If we come down to the one, right, you can see that play, it's huge. And now look at what we're doing. Okay, so that's a wait and see. Any questions on the Euro Aussie? Okay.
Okay.
All right. Euro CAD. Okay. Look, we've been pushing. All right, we're coming up to some levels. It's been a runaway train right now. All right, it's been running away. But hey, are we exhausting? Where do we want to exhaust? We're starting to see it top out. We're at 99%. That's almost 100%. Okay. So we look for, right, the momentum to slow. Okay. Right. Maybe we get a correction before we get to this 144.99. And then maybe we continue. Maybe when it gets to this point, it continues to breakdown. 50 basis points out of Canada. GDP is looking pretty good. Canada took the hit mainly because of that oil price. 50 basis points was looked at by a lot of people as dovish, was a dovish hike, but it was a hike nonetheless. Okay, it was a hike nonetheless. So we will see if we get a correction back down, right, to that level off that high, right? That's 200 pips to the bottom of that zone. To the top of that zone is 150. So with that being said, right, we had 3 scenarios drawn out, and we can see that we got the breakout, right, to the top side, pushed up, and now we're struggling at this level right now, struggling at this level. So, right, if we come down to the 1, this is where we are. That looks a bit corrective, right? It's double topped at this 144, right? So when we talk about decent day trade scenarios, this might be time for this to turn over, right, from your lower time frames, right? So look, it's tested this area twice. We just got resist. I missed this. I was waiting on a correction on this, but this may be looking to work its way down, right? It's a beautiful play there. That one's kind of already taken off. But look at the level. Look at how we're holding below. So we may get further downside pressure on that one. So keep an eye on that one. Look for corrections, right? And potentially a further move down on the Euro CAD. Okay. Questions on the Euro CAD?
We got a trend line break off the 1 hour too on no, my bad. I'm looking at the pound CAD, not the Euro CAD. My bad. Cancel that.
You're looking at the pound CAD?
Accidentally, yeah.
We can look at that. We can look at that. Because I had let me take a look at your
So
pound.
we are breaking the trend line on the 1 hour on that Euro CAD.
Okay. I'll go back to that one. But there's your break, right? So we've been waiting on that one.
Yeah.
We've been waiting on that one. It's nice.
Skip ahead, my bad.
What'd you say?
So didn't mean to skip ahead, my bad.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So, right. So we're oversold right now. So if you missed that initial break, right, we're coming down, see when we can get some type of pullback, either on a 1 or the 15, whatever zone you play, but that's moving down pretty good. That's moving down pretty good. Right. That one's taking off nicely. Right. The 5 minute. Right. But hey, we've got an overextended play here. Okay, so it's that 165.02. Where is, right? That's 165.02 right there. So maybe a check back there, but that one's running. All right, that one's starting to run. We got 1 hour support coming in right here. Okay, so maybe we get a correction and a pullback off of that. That's nice. It's a nice setup. And depending on how you trade, this might be it. Trend line break, back to support, done. Right. Right. If you like those type of setups, here's another 1 hour there. Link that down. So yeah, you know, if you trade intraday, right? So we always say, hey, we got something for everybody. Right? We got something for everybody here. That's a beautiful move there, right? Won't sell it now though. Right? Don't jump that trade now. See the reaction you got last time off that level. Got to kind of wait and see. Right? Beautiful, beautiful move. Right? Back up to that Euro CAD. Right? Starting to fall. Right? So when you scan through all the pairs, you set your charts up, you do the work, you scan through all the pairs, you can see how oftentimes they kind of move, they start to move in sync. Right? Start to move in sync. So that's the Euro CAD there. Quick check in on the Euro Swissy, right? We're just grinding long, right? It's just been a long grind to the upside. Here's a better look at it on the 4, right? So it's choppy, right? But if you're swing trading, we're getting close, right, to the extension. We got a 61.8 pullback. That's beautiful up against daily and weekly support. And off that level, that's up 180, the extension around 250 or so. So that's the Euro CAD, just a long continuation there. Euro GBP is doing the Euro GBP thing, right? Finding support at this level once again. We're pushing bullish, okay, right? So there's a range play there, a small range. I would love again to see it break above this zone, okay, to really get me sold on the long play. Right? Break above or below 85.68 for any type of play there. Right. So if you, as you move down through the charts, right, you can see where you can find those intraday setups doing your top down analysis, right? We came down, we found support. And now we seem to be moving back topside, right, to that 86.73. Okay, so that's a decent play there, right? It's 100 pips on the Euro GBP that is moving. Okay, 100 pips on the Euro GBP. All right, it's probably gonna get there too. So this is why it's so important, right? Over the weekends or whenever you get a chance to set your charts up, identify your potential setups, and then just let them fall in your lap. Okay. So that's a Euro GBP moving long. Okay. Questions on the Euro GBP?
No, sir.
All right. EJ. And like definitely moving bullish to neutral, but now we're starting to get a little bit of a break. So we got that bullish candle that broke back above 142.55, and now we're starting to push long. Right, starting to push long a bit. So when we get back right to the highs here at 146.15, all right. Wondering if I don't know if we'll get a check back or not on that. Let's see. We may get a check back to this 142.55. I had that drawn up. We may not though. So this is moving. Let me see what we got. All right. So we got this long drawn out move. So if we get yeah, so I thought. Okay. So we've retested the backside of that trend line. So if we break above the zone, right, it starts to get clear as you move down through the charts. Right, like that. If it can work its way back a little at that zone, at this point, right, breaking a retest like that, okay. But right now, okay, I will wait for us to get above that level. Questions on that Euro JPY? Right, so we go all the way up to the daily. We see how we're starting to get some momentum. Strong bullish candle close back above 142.55. We haven't checked back to that level. That's why I'm saying, hey, let's wait and see if we can get right price to break and close above that level, because if not, we may be headed back to retest. Right, but we're moving sideways. Get that link out. What is this? This is what I have on 40.62. Just bring that in. I didn't bring my levels down. I guess. Hold on one second. Should have. Yeah, I did. I need. Yeah, it's the support there. Just wanted to see if we had something on the higher charts Come in before that daily level. Let's take the bottom of that. Like so. So there. And this. So let's see what happens. See what happens on that. All right. Any questions on the Euro JPY? No. All right. Let me look at this Euro NZD. I think there was something I was looking at on that. Oh, this is just, we're in the middle of a 1 hour swing here. Right. So we may be getting back to that 382. That one's already kind of moving through. Had it noted. I'm just taking a look at it. Yeah. Right. So you can see how these waves play, right? So when they're down, right? See how this has been moving down out of the zone off this 61.8 area. Boom. Nice move. Here we know the New Zealand's been pretty strong. But here's that 4. And we're starting to try to push back up a little bit for another correction. And on the 1, this is what it looks like. All right. So we may get this push back up to retest this zone here. All right. So that's the swing, potential swing. So we'll see what happens. See what happens there. But overall, this has been bearish when it down retracement zone. So that's the Euro NZD, Euro dollar. Still waiting, right? Still waiting on this one. Okay. We may, right? We talked about this 106 level a while ago, and it got real close to it around that 61.8. See if it may bounce back for a retest on that, but just hovering. So just kind of a wait and see on this Euro USD. If I run my fibs off this level, there we can see where it's kind of holding, right? Here's a D extension. So right around that 106 zone. So it might be trying to get there. But after that, we may see some correction. We'll continue to watch the DXY, right? So we know it's pretty much the inverse of the DXY because it's heavily weighted. It's heavily weighted. So the DXY is heavily weighted with the euro, all right, over 50%. So just a wait and see on a Euro USD. I'm not looking to buy that right now at all. It's made a nice move to the upside. So we'll see what happens next. Any questions on that? No. All right. One more I wanted to touch on was this pound Aussie because it's made a nice run on the 4. But I got my concerns, right? So I am through with this setup. Here's a D extension, but right. So it's been a beautiful move off this double bottom, right? So beautiful play, right? That was posted in the Telegram, right? We went over that, over 600 pips. But when you look at it from the higher time frame, we're sitting and we just retested an 80-20 zone here. See? And now we're getting a rejection. Right? Higher time frames control the lower time frames. So this run may be coming to an end. We'll see how we close today. But that's looking pretty bearish right now. We'll see if we can get a bearish close below this 181.25, and we may see a further downside move on this. Right? A further downside move. Maybe, you know, right, these zones here, I have to redraw this up and take a look at it. But right now we're correcting. We retested a higher this zone again. So we'll see how far down that wants to correct. Right. So there's that same move. Right. We've got a lot of support levels in between where it may find support. But you can see how we're closing in on some zones here. But I'll see. Right? That's a strong break at 180, 125. We'll check, we'll see. But that's one to keep an eye on. I would love to see it check back, right? To see if it holds at that level, right? Because if it does, then we're going to look at more downside momentum eventually. If it breaks back above it, then it may be trying to move back, right, to that 4-hour D extension that we had drawn up. But in the meantime, I'm through with that trade for that reason. So it's kind of a wait and see, right? We get a check back and a hold at 180, 125, then we may be looking for further downside momentum. Any questions on that? We're good?
No.
All right, appreciate it. Want to check back to this this Oz NZD before we close out. Where are we? I think I wonder if we're breaking above this cloud. Yeah, nothing else yet on that though. Coming through on the cloud. We got our lag span above price. We've broken it. We don't have a bullish confirmation yet. But we're early in the swing. All right, 80-20 zone got us in there early, and right now we're right. We're in the right direction. So we'll continue to watch how that plays out. Ryan, anything before we wrap things up for this morning, sir?
No, sir. No, sir. Great session, man. Continue to be patient. Continue to wait for those confirmations, right? We got some good setups starting to move. We got some that are sitting in key zones. Continue to be patient, man. Great session, bro.
All right. Thank you very much. Hey, I look forward to seeing everybody 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight for the Asian session. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you, Benny.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for the feedback, Carolyn. Appreciate it.